There
There
we
we go.
go.
The
Hey, Andy. Welcome to this
oh,
little thing. Uh, so I don't know if anybody is actually out there watching. So I have a Stream Deck thing that always forget to use, and it always feels like it's in the
oh
wrong.
yeah.
Like the little hardware. Um, and yeah, it's supposed to show me if there's people watching, but it feels like I don't trust it enough to know. But hey, Tim, my friend Tim, and
Hey Tim.
Twitch streamer Mummy Andy. I think that's like a username for she does Fortnite streaming anyways, and games and
I
stuff.
say I
Anyways,
don't think my mum does streaming. Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
think
hope not.
Secret Life as a streamer. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
committed
oh yeah. I
story
wasn't even
could
thinking
ring.
Andy. You're Andy. She goes my Mummy Andy. That's awkward. Funny. Anyways, fun streamer. Anyways, okay. So Andy's
Nice.
here to help me. Well, I'm here to help Andy theoretically talk about
You
live
like to say
streaming.
I'm not helping anyone here. Yeah.
We're going to try and break our computers collectively, hopefully at the same time, and then the Twitch stream will go down and all things will be lost to the internet, which is kind of the way it goes. But anyway, so we'll try and pay attention to the chat. I'll try and demo some of that while we're doing this. Feel free to interrupt at any point, obviously. But like I said, Andy, I only know enough to be dangerous here, and Andy knows
Yeah.
slightly less than that.
I don't know, considerably less than that. I was saying, Chris, before we started, downloaded Ecamm today and signed in and just immediately closed it because I was like, this is just too much. It's just
Yeah,
too overwhelming for
yeah,
my brain to
exactly.
handle right now. Yeah.
So what we'll do here, I sent you this thing, but we'll just by way of brief introduction, this is in no way a professional enterprise here, but Andy does professional work. So if you're curious about Andy, I forgot the Notion doesn't actually show the links when I do the mention thing though. Anyways, you can have the complaint about Notion discussion another time. But designer, a agency founder, and then also Piccalilli, which used to be your agency's name, but now is the course magazine stuff.
Yeah, publication. Yeah. Yeah.
And so if you're looking to hire or need to build a amazing website, then Set Studios who you can look to if you've got budgets in the more than $500 in
Yeah.
a weekend kind of range,
We've
I
got
assume.
mortgages to pay. Yeah.
Exactly. So maybe you can tell me, Andy, and why I listed Fame and Fortune. I assume is why you want to live stream. But like, what
Primary
is
reason. Yeah. Yeah.
what's your goals, or why are you doing this besides me bugging you to do
I
it?
so I want to do some live streaming. So I used to do a little bit once upon a time, a few probably half a decade ago now, and I can't remember what the product was called. So there's obviously OBS, which I found unbelievably difficult to use, and then there was another one that was like slightly more user friendly, and I can't remember what it's called now. But it was built on top of OBS, and I
Oh
use that.
yes, Slobs. It went by Streamlabs OBS, I think, or something. It was like a fork.
Streamlabs, that was it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was it. And that was a bit more successful, and then I just stopped doing it. And then so I want to do it again. So I thought instead of trying to work this stuff out myself badly, I'll get Chris to help me do it less bad.
That's
And
bad. Yeah.
then yeah, yeah, and then at least I'll have a level of comfort. We do not love AI, right?
No.
Yeah.
I asked Andy for the technology he hates the most to use as a bit of a troll here, and AI was
And
at the top of the list. But
immediately came flying out of my mouth. Yeah. And
so if you
this
saw
is
my
cool though.
post,
I like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things with so Ecamm. It has like the chat thing. Obviously, you can see wherever you can do multi-streaming. So in this case, I'm just doing it to Twitch, but I
Yeah.
could do Twitch and YouTube and whatever your bandwidth out goes. So that's the one drawback, I guess, in terms of like
Mm.
desktop app on the Mac only. So it's not Windows or anything else, just Mac, which is why I like it. But then it is obviously using your computer to do all the like spitting out the stuff as well as intake versus some of the other options that are like web based now. As we'll get into that, but and then there may be some web dev jokes here that will fly over my head. I hear the words when I edit my client's podcast, but I don't always understand the. I know Tailwind is either loved or hated depending on which client I'm working with. So I have to
So
hedge my
I don't
bets
know
there.
what my feeling is towards Tailwind. It's okay, but I can't stand the community. Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually the case with a lot of tech.
Yeah.
AI wouldn't be so bad without some of the
Yeah, yeah.
tech pros.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, so that's where like bandwidth considerations are would factor into like whether and like obviously hardware too. You have to have a beefy enough Mac to just do this stuff. So any modern M series Mac will run it for sure, but still
Okay.
bandwidth wise going up. If you're considering multi-streaming, that's where something like you can send it to a service called Restream, which would then is like its name sounds, is just a service that restreams out.
Oh, it's like one of those render files that you can send stuff to. Yeah.
Oh, oh, there we go. And so I have.
Um,
I don't
we
know
got
if
a
you
new
heard that.
follower.
I'm trying to
Amazing.
like play the Twitch game a little bit half-heartedly, but thanks for the follow here. And so there's an overlay on all of the scenes that incorporates it's a browser URL from Twitch. We'll try and get to that too eventually here, but where
Oh,
then
cool.
Twitch can send a thing to a web page effectively, right? But it gets displayed on my. There's effectively a browser overlay here that's
Oh,
running,
interesting.
so it sends audio and video through, and there's Tim following. Tim, who's my co-host often on conversations here, apparently was not following me, so that's
That's
good to know.
disgraceful behaviour, Tim. Yeah.
It keeps going to the
That's
wrong
cool though,
side.
that you can do a browser. Are these scenes that you've got here? Are they browser based as well then, or are they static assets?
There's a mixture of both. So let's switch here. We'll go. How did we figure out to do this the best way? I think we did this and then this. So I
Yeah,
think
this is
everybody
the
should be
part
seeing
where
my
I started
entire.
panicking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's just do this quick. So I've got a Mac OS widget up in the left corner. That's nothing, obviously Ecamm Live, but everything else, I'll try and hide things if they'll respect my hiding of things. Almost everything else here is Ecamm. So this is my one complaint, and I think this is probably where you had some terror as you opened it up too, is they use this sort of older, or I don't know if it's older or just a style of Mac OS development where every window is its own. It's not a one layer that opens up and you just kind of drop down and have menus as an app. It's like all these little widget sort of style windows that you can have open or not. And so it
Yeah.
looks very overwhelming, and then it also is very confusing sometimes as to what is where and how to get to one. If I'm panicking and like trying to find the mute button or whatever down in the left corner for the sound level layer, what is where basically. And so that's definitely an issue, and that's where OBS is similar, but it does sort of use the more I don't know whatever that's called, like static layers, where it's like the window is open and it's up, and then you minimize it and it's gone, and there's not like
Yeah.
random floating things all over the place. So at first glance, anything that you want to like dive into, I can sort of run through stuff, but
I'm gonna just kind of quickly open it on mine so I can see what the fuck to do.
yeah.
Right. So I think the main thing for me is like I want one scene that will like share a sort of a fragment of my screen, right? So I want to set like a hot corner. Why don't we switch to my screen and then we can
So I'll just show you.
this.
So like basically, you could do. I've got this desktop S cam. Yeah.
So
So
I'll just
guest.
switch tab on here. There we go. Yeah.
I've got a scene that's just to show what it looks like in the end, like a nice little floating head, round. You can do round, square, whatever, kind of layers for your
Yeah.
camera, and then you could obviously have the desktop showing through underneath that, and
Yeah.
that's fairly easy to build. But here, I'm going to close some stuff, so we'll come back to, and I'll probably forget, or maybe I won't close because I'll forget about it.
This is going to be the bit where it gets really hairy, where you're
Yeah.
trying to tell me to do things, and I have the brain capacity of a piece of wood. So,
So let's switch to your screen. Let's try this out. So,
yeah.
and I'll maybe get rid of us. This is. So I'm actually building. People can see on my end, anyways. I'm building the scene. I've got way too many scenes right now because I tried to build some for, like, if I had other guests on and make it all confusing. Plus a dog cam scene in case my dog walked by. And then none of them are active until I press the play button beside it or hit the shortcut key to
Yeah.
switch to it, obviously. So if I have, so this is the one we're on right now, and if I duplicate that and then guest desktop, I'll call it, and no webcams. And then I'm going to just remove us from the layer here so it's a little slightly less confusing. And so then basically you can sort of see this. I've got an overlay here, the Twitch overlay here on the far left in the overlay list that you can't see, but, or yeah, now it's white. It's even harder to see. Go back to your web page.
Yeah, quick.
There we go. So there's a little faint outline there. You can sort of see. I can move it around a little bit. That's the Twitch overlay. And just to show this quickly before, because I'll forget when I come back to it. And if I go into it, I can edit that widget. And then this is where, like, for web nerds, it's a little more familiar, where basically Twitch spits out this, weird long URL that I probably should show someone else. I don't know if they could hack it, I guess. Maybe not. You can choose the resolution, the frame rate, and whether it stays running even if it's not there, or it fills the entire frame, and whether there should be a transition for it as it comes in or out. But basically, that's what you can do with anything. So you could have, like, literally any web page you wanted as a widget that shows. And then in Ecamm, you can do either show as, like, I have that one showing in all scenes, so no matter where I am, it's always on the top. Or I could just show it in the current scene, where I would only have it show, like, on a certain scene that I have over here, certain scene setup. So that's similar, like, nomenclature to OBS, but yeah, done a little differently.
Yeah. I can't see any of that, Chris, because obviously I've had to.
This is.
So I'm just like nodding away, like, I really hope he shows me this.
And that's the confusing part of all of this, is, like, I think I'm showing, if I look at my dashboard.
Yeah, this is a bit I found the most like horrifying when I did streaming before, was like, what am I actually showing right now?
Yeah.
Am I just showing a client contract while I'm just talking?
And that's where when you're in demo mode, like, or not in demo mode, sorry, normally, like, if I switch back and we go back to just you and I chatting here.
Oh, cool.
Like, actually, and then switch back to demo mode now. So you can see my window again, right?
Oh, yeah.
So this little rectangle here, and then you can resize it to however big you want it, is what's, oops, unless I do the Mac OS desktop thing, is what's showing. And so this is all that is getting sent to the stream right now. And I can move the window around, or
oh, cool. Yeah.
There we go. Oh. Somehow that is also. I can move that window around. You could actually have, like, a second monitor, or you could send it out to, like, a Apple TV, let's say, or something. That's what I've toyed with doing, is getting just, like, a TV or something that I could just sort of stream the live version to, and not have to open Twitch, but it would just, like, send that out as a video feed as well as going to Twitch. But just so I could always be like, okay, that's actually what, to keep my head straight, what's actually happening on live stream right now. Because it is easy to forget, like, what view I'm actually on when I'm also seeing all this other stuff that they're not necessarily seeing, or they're seeing all of it and I forget that. And yeah, so that's where it gets very confusing with whatever. Like, that's, I think, of anytime you're sort of sharing your screen with the world, but because of the overlays and stuff, whether it's OBS or Ecamm, you kind of lose track of, at least I do anyways, where when it's not just like most of what people stream obviously on Twitch and stuff is just like a game, and so you're just choosing that as the layer, and you're sending that out, and that's all it is, and you maybe have a webcam over top of it. But when you're sharing your desktop, it's a little more confusing, I find. So
yeah, I think what I'm going to do is have, because I'm a single screen sort of person, I'm just going to have that portion of the screen that's shared, and then a little iPad down here that I can, like, monitor the chat or whatnot if people ask questions. Yeah.
And it, like, so if, I don't know if anybody's out there right now and can throw something in the chat just to show, I guess I could go type something too, but let's do a little quick hello world into Twitch.
Screenception.
Oh, there you go. So then,
I see.
oh crap.
Is that Wilter? Is
Yeah.
he? What's he doing in here? Here he is.
Now we have a professional streamer watching
Get
us.
back to writing your course, Matt. What are you doing watching me?
Oh yeah, that's got the connection there. He's waiting on an email from you, and you're waiting for.
Yeah.
You're both supposed to be at work, and you've both found each other here.
Both just slacking off somehow.
Maggie Thatcher would love this. I don't know what. That's a British reference of some sort, but
It is a very British reference, and I sure hope she doesn't. Yeah, she should be dead.
Okay. The so as you're seeing, like the chat, so Ecamm Live operates on this. I think there's probably a way to automatically have the chat stuff go on screen, but it also I can actually drag a chat onto the window and just sort of throw it somewhere if I wanted.
That's cool.
And this is a very quick custom designed chat window. You can of course do all sorts of customizing of what the window looks like. So that's where I like it. It uses Mac conventions for like rather than having to figure out what OBS means in the open source world of product design. It has a well thought out design system, if that's the right word for that. I think now it's defaulting up to there. So wherever you throw it is where it's going to overlay. So that's where it's easy enough to I could click the ban button and then he can never comment again. I think he can't even watch anymore or whatever.
Good idea.
It's probably safe for the best. And yeah. So that's where it's it's kind of nice. But yeah, going back to the basics of building your scene of how to do that. And so if we flip back to your view, and if you switch over to Ecamm,
then okay.
You've got
so
Ecamm
this
overlay.
I've determined it's the scene window. This over here.
Yes. Yeah.
Let me just move this into the middle of the screen so we can actually see it. Can I make it bigger?
What's with the light background on your website? That makes everything harder to see.
I can't.
Why would you do that?
One thing I cannot stand Chris's dark mode.
I was just gonna ask you why you didn't make a dark mode option.
We had to do, but actually no. Leanne looks at things in dark mode, but yeah, we miss things all the time because we literally never look at the dark mode ever. Yeah.
So yeah,
all
the
right,
default
so
scene there.
Default.
Yeah. And down in the plus, there's the scene, and then there's the layer window, or overlay, window, which is to your left, sort of left middle on your layer. If you drag that one over, and so then basically what goes into that scene is what you build in the layer overlay window, and so you could add your camera or text, etc. So those are all would be somewhat. So the camera icon, I think, is where you could throw a camera overlay. So if you click that, it should give you something. So your FaceTime, your mic or Mac camera, I guess. So
I see.
And then that's overlaying. So right now it's just a black background, and I'm not sure. Is that your? I don't know why it's not actually showing your camera, but you can click the pencil or whatever to change the settings. So you can choose a different video source. That's how you adjust what the overlay looks like. So you could choose the camera you're using right now is not your FaceTime one, or is it?
Yeah, it is. What I imagine is happening here, Chris, is my computer's having a panic attack because I am broadcasting to your stream and also and it's probably thinking, wait a minute, man, just slow down a second. You're asking too much out of me. Yeah.
Because then that's where you can customize the shape of it, obviously. But if you click your face in that little overlay, like the studio, I can't quite see the text, but your camera, your face as an option there. How are you?
Tell me what to move my mouse.
I can't see why it's coming up, but up on the overlay, there, your little.
This one.
Yeah, there you go. So that's choosing. That's just the whole scene is my face as that camera as the source, and then you could put overlays on top of that if you wanted, or you could choose to not have a camera source as the default, the base layer, I guess if you want to call it, and choose yeah, you could throw some text on. There's a nice little animated text thing that you can do, where like scrolling or whatever if you wanted to do.
Edit text. Oh, is that the text
Yeah,
there?
that's the one. I don't know why they don't have on screen. I'm sure there's a
I
good
don't
reason
know how
for
to
it
spell the
technically,
word
but
professional. There we go.
and so now
Done.
that's another. Oh, sweet! That
Yeah.
earned me a follower. Thanks, Peruvian Idol. Just followed. Uh, so now you can see in the overlay window there underneath. Once the overlay on my end goes away, you can see, yeah, that's like a turn off, turn on. You could move it to like show in all scenes if you wanted to, like drag it up into the show all scenes, so that it would just
Obviously.
always be there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could have so the other overlay options are, I think, like an image, a video. You could just like a countdown,
Oh, interesting.
a web page. So you could have, a permanently updating, like just have your whatever the top of your Blue Sky feed, let's say, or something, or whatever you wanted
Yeah.
to show.
You don't want to put that on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get banned from Twitch.
Yeah. Just have my mentions live streamed 24/7. Yeah.
And then you can also so the computer monitor overlay that's sort of beside the text overlay is where you could choose a window or, so that's gonna probably break things if we try and do that now.
Yeah. Let's touch my finger there. Later.
Yeah. Let's do later.
Let's do later. Cheers for that option, but no, we're not doing that. But yeah, I see. So that would be theoretically my computer scene.
Yeah.
Computer screen.
Yeah, and so it could be small, and obviously we could reverse this where this computer screen is so you could pick a specific application, which that's what I often do, especially if I'm demoing, like editing a podcast. I'll just choose Logic Pro, let's say, and so then I know no matter what else is going on my computer, Mega Man is running or whatever in the background, it'll only be that, and so on that layer, anyways.
So if I was writing some code, and then I guess I could rename this then, right? To be like code mode. Nice. Oh right, you're right though. It's all very very old Mac, but luckily I've been a Mac user
for
old. Last yeah I am old, and B I've used Macs since I could walk, so yeah I'm pretty comfortable with that sort of this sort of setup. That's cool.
Yeah. And so the one option there, like for that, you can include the desktop as an option or not. And then you can also activate system audio capture in that layer. So like if there was an app that had a sound, I said, I don't think it does sounds, but you could have that there or not. And transition, I think if you click that transition drop down, it'll, as that layer turns on, it comes in. There's that's not actually the one. There's an automatic sort of fade in. I think I do it sometimes with my, let's see.
Yeah. Essentially what I want to do is I want to have like a pre-broadcast scene.
Yes.
Sort of me sharing my code editor and then me sharing the browser tab that I'm working on. And like maybe Figma as well. Because like the end of the game, Chris, is I'm going to redo my personal site, but like an hour at a time of a stream, because it's the only way I'm going to do it. Otherwise, I just won't ever give myself the time to do it. So it's like, right, if I commit to doing like, I don't know, 3 p.m. UK time every Thursday, and it's just like I just sit and do an hour of work on my personal site. I think that'll be a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. People can learn.
So that's where, you could have a scene that's like starter scene or like opening scene or whatever. So you can make a new scene and then you just build whatever overlays you want on that scene to have.
So I could do that, and then if I quickly flip to Figma, and then.
Yeah, that's where Figma. I know Jason Langsdorff built, like he was using OBS, but on his Learning with Jason stuff, I don't think he does it anymore, but he used to have like it was all web pages that he had for his
Yeah, I
scenes,
remember
basically.
that. Yeah.
Which allows, like, obviously, if you're web savvy and you understand HTML, you can quickly update the scene pretty easily without having to open a graphic editor and stuff. And so, and then he also was able to build that into
All two
like
things.
a repo on GitHub or whatever that people could, you could share that with people and things like that. So neat, like web kind of thing. Yeah, exactly.
So how do I turn the audio off on this scene then?
So that's where in the layers, where is it? There's a sound. Oh, your head is covering it here. Just a second. On my end, there's a layer.
I don't know why I moved my head out of the way.
I should have had you ducking down and doing all sorts of contortions, and then like, actually, just joking. It's the oh yeah, top left corner there is the audio sound levels, and so
Yeah, got it.
you would just you could just mute there, and that'll mute. I think in that scene, and then if we switch to a different scene, it should be. I can't remember. There's a setting, or it's yeah, there you go.
Wow, that's
per scene.
Genius. Yeah.
So that's where I try to have I actually don't have one right now, but like a panic scene where it's just like, oh crap, I don't know what I'm doing, and hit that, or like have the end button, like stop streaming now button handy, just in case, whatever happens. But so that's a way to like, or having a I'll be right back kind of scene too, where it's just like you flip to that, that sound is not coming through, your dog's barking or your family's exploding, whatever happens, like, and then you can flip to that and know that the stream keeps going. People are aware that you're coming back, hopefully, and then it's an easy way to like sort of kill all kind of thing, and not go into full panic mode live on stream, ideally.
Going for a piss scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I did one for when the tea alarm goes off, actually.
Yeah. So there is, speaking of sounds, there is, you can see there's like a sound layer.
I've already spotted the one I want to press. Yeah, hell yeah.
Which, yeah, and so you can add your own, obviously. Those are the ones that it comes stock with, and you can have a bit of fun with that.
That's all I need, I think. Get the timpani roll.
What is that one, actually?
Air horn.
Yeah. Yeah, really, like you need an air horn and maybe the drum roll if you're a rim shot or whatever. That's really all you need.
Yeah.
So I think you could, yeah, and then just the T alarm, I guess, as well. The other one.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I do need. That's exactly it. Yeah. No, when I was when you were editing the Shop Talk show, and I was like, I need to get Chris some audio for it. Finding the isolated T alarm was almost impossible.
Yeah.
It took me like an hour to send you a shit TikTok. I was like, this is the best I can do, man. Like, it was, I can't believe no one's like released the audio of it, considering we hear it every day at 4 p.m. But that's why we started this at 5, just to make sure that the alarm didn't go off.
We want this to be professional and not get interrupted. with nonsense.
Okay. So then got my pre-broadcast stream. That's cool. And then so I can just, because what I'm probably going to do, right, is like, let's just say, for example, I've got one that's for when I'm doing editing. So I'd create myself a little mask like that, and then maybe I could have some shit on the side here. So if I export that, because
you can just have an image.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so
it all just depends. Like, I mean, you're obviously savvy to like web stuff and browser overlays and all that kind of stuff. But like if it's locked in and you're not changing it, then yeah, you might as well make a nice image and then run with that. And then you can do like with.
Can I do a web page then? Can I do? Could I show a web page as an overlay then?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the world or which one is it? There's one of them that's I can't quite see. Or I guess I could just look on my whole computer here. That's in front of me.
Internet. If anyone wants to know how I That's how I write the Piccolo domain at any given time. Holy shit! I mean, that looks fucked up, man. But
It's probably rendered in IE 12 or something, maybe. But yeah,
that's it. Yeah, I can't. We had
the
someone
last.
tell us, yeah, from GDS. I can't remember what the scenario was that caused this, and I was just like, do you know what? Like, that's just progressive enhancement, man. Like, it looks okay.
So if you
Yeah,
click the gear thing or the pencil, well, not gear, the like on that layer on the overlay there, you could
yeah.
edit the widget, and or maybe you did that already, but like the edit widget
Yeah.
and then widget options. So you
Oh wow.
could do, I don't know what
High
else.
res mode. Fill entire frame. Yeah. Oh no, no, I've totally messed it up.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Let's not do that.
Not
Oh
fill entire
no.
frame is the one you probably don't want on there.
Ah yeah. Then we'll
You can
go
do high
back to
res
high
mode,
res.
but
No, still fucked.
yeah.
And
Hmm. I wonder how it's rendering. That's interesting. I have never come across. I don't use it enough to.
oh, I see. I can just get rid of it. Yeah, okay. There we go.
You can delete
Apply
the layer, like
into.
yeah, click the trash button or
Yeah,
whatever, and it'll be
because that
gone.
might be a better thing to do. Is that I build a little web page that's extremely because like for example like on Piccalilli like now that Matt's watching let's go on his article and then if I change that to OG it does the open graph
Ooh,
image yeah so then URL box takes over and takes a clip of that so that with the same methodology because this is all going to be Piccalilli shit so like I could have a scene um, template and then pump in whatever I'm like working on, for example. So that's what I was
like
thinking is
cameras.
that like say you'd have this share and then you'd have like a little like to do list of stuff you were doing and then you'd be able to show it. So yeah, not having to artwork that in Figma every time would be pretty ideal. Just a FYI, dude, I've got about 10 minutes left, if that's cool.
Yeah, no
I
worries.
just realised
Sorry,
what time it is. Yeah,
I just
it's
realized my
nearly.
camera was drooping here, and I tried to adjust it, and it dropped to the floor. Almost
All
broke
right.
my phone.
But this
Uh,
this is good. I tell you one thing I definitely want to learn, man. Before we go, is there a way um, that we can do like audio, not necessarily effects, like chaining a compressor or whatnot to the mic? Um,
yes. Uh,
it's very crispy, but I imagine you've got a rig, haven't you? You've got an outboard.
there is. Sorry, I don't know how much my dog's barking. Speaking of gates.
That's so good. He's the. I thought it was my neighbour's dog, same bark, but yeah,
Okay, I'm
so
gonna
good.
switch back to let's see, me and you, webcam and guest. So your screen is off right now. I'll put it in live
Yeah,
demo
let's do it
mode.
so I can watch you. There we go. Yeah,
So there's in the sound levels overlay or window,
yeah.
whatever we're calling those. There's a little widget down here. Oop,
Oh
of course, it
yeah,
pops up over there for audio filters. And
yeah.
so then you can do like whether I apply it to my mic and your mic or the sound that's built in or whatever. Um, I could choose to, or the entire mix, let's say. So I could do uh,
Amazing.
any like the built-in Apple stuff that they have as far as compressors and things like that are
Yeah,
good enough for I would say
yeah,
for this would be similar to what you'd get in OBS anyways.
yeah, for
Um,
sure. Yeah.
and then if you have like I have Isotopes set of like noise plugins and things that I use
Oh,
for podcast
nice.
editing.
Posh.
Yeah, very posh. But even like this, oh, I have never even tried this. This is probably a bad idea to do live on
I've got
stream.
the Waves Platinum bundle from about
Yeah,
15 years ago somewhere on a
yeah,
hard
exactly.
drive, but yeah, I thought I'd know how to use them. And I think if I tried to open them on my Mac now, it'd probably kill itself. So
Exactly.
yeah,
But technically, you can do that, and that's where like that's the fun, but also like you can sort of mess yourself up pretty quickly too with like what's going
yeah,
where and things like that. But I keep that sound overlays handy for just killing if there's notifications coming in. You can mute the system obviously, or built-in
yeah.
sound effects is the sound like the air horns and whatever stuff. And if you're playing a video, that's you can adjust the volumes for there, and then the calling thing that we haven't even talked about. I'll just quickly do is like that's another
Oh, of
camera
course, yeah.
layer where it's, I forget what the subscription level is. I got it on some deal, but like basically you can have this. I sent you the link, like the URL, so you can
Yeah.
call in, and must hide it when I'm in demo mode or something. I can't see what it's doing. But basically, anybody could theoretically, like I think I can show it on screen. Like I think that's the URL I sent you. But theoretically, someone could call
Yeah.
that. If someone's brave enough and wants to, is watching, then feel free. It pops in with a green screen room. You're not like live on. Well, I guess in this case you would be live because I'm demoing it, but so no nudity. But
Yeah. Yeah,
and he's
Matt.
already got his pants off. We don't
Yeah.
need more.
Yeah.
uh, but then someone can. That's a way. Like you could do. Like
Enable
obviously,
cam.
what's that?
Yeah. I better not enable my under the desk cam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh, that cancels out Matt's option to come on. I forgot he's in the nude streamer community. Anyways, you could use it like for guests, obviously. Like in this case, where I'm having you on as a guest, I send you the link. Nobody else sees
Yeah.
it. We just chat. But you could actually technically use that, and you could change it up to a fancier URL to being like an actual call-in show, which I did a couple conversations back with someone, like a viewer, and then we had them on the show. And then you basically have to set up a scene. You know, like this version of us chatting now, I could just have, like this would be, instead of, this is right now guest 2, which is Andy's screen, it could be guest 3, and then this would be guest 4, camera coming in. And Ecamm takes care of all the back end stuff of that, like obviously routing calls and videos and whatever. So it is kind of neat in that way. Like OBS, you can sort of do that, and you know, you can do other stuff. It's not a comparison of OBS or Ecamm, but just in terms of like, if you just want to do the thing, that's where I find Ecamm is so much nicer
Yeah.
than messing around with OBS. But if you love like fiddling with stuff and messing around with all sorts of layers and settings and, you know, plugins and things, then OBS is definitely a great option. The one other one that's actually, speaking of Jason Langsdorff, that he switched to is StreamYard, which is a web-based streaming software. And it works pretty slick, and it definitely is like not system intensive. Obviously, it's just, I mean, you need a modern computer, but nothing fancy. And your bandwidth is not also being tested because you just have one window that's open, and they take care of any sort of restreaming from their end. But again, you're sort of limited in terms of what you can do locally. You're sharing your screen or sharing devices, but limited by their software in terms of what goes out to the world. And both will be like Ecamm, just even pricing wise. Ecamm, I forget what it is now. $100 and some a year, maybe subscription based, but
it's not too bad at all.
Yeah,
It's really quite like, because especially for me, like I'll pay anything to save myself time, because like
exactly.
I just don't have the time, I especially don't have the patience to be like faffing around in OBS, because like
Yeah,
every time you wanted to do anything different in OBS, it was like, oh,
yeah,
better put an hour aside
yeah. You're
to
watching
make
YouTube
that work.
tutorials from 2 years ago, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
realizing, oh, that's actually the old version, and now it's this thing now, and oh, I should
You
just
break another scene, yeah, and
yeah,
it's like, oh god, right, I'm just going to stop streaming then, and that
yeah,
was pretty much it. Yeah.
exactly. That was my very
Yeah.
first time I tried streaming. I forget, like, you know, playing some game and streaming it. And then the first comment I got from my very first Twitch stream was like, some random person was like, "Have you had sex today?" And I was just like, I just shut it off. I just like,
Yeah, I'm done.
I don't
I'm
need
out.
that. I was wanting to just play a game.
Yeah,
Anyways, but
I'm out.
Matt found a way back onto my stream. So,
Yeah, and here he is today, Matt Markey, everyone.
that's the funny thing about this is like you don't have any concept of whether, like, I can see the viewer number in, like, you know, the Twitch dashboard is at where is it? 5 viewers right now. So it might be, he might still be there, but you have no concept of like who's actually still around and who's
Who's
not.
actually
And
watching?
yeah, it's kind of weird that way.
Yeah.
And, anyway, booted him out for an IHOP ad. That would be the one. I don't even have IHOP in Canada. That's not even a thing I can see. But yeah, that's hilarious. I think there's a way in the
Join your
dashboard.
stream. Here's an ad. Yeah.
Which, like, so just, I know you have to run here. So briefly, Twitch live streaming. I feel like Twitch is kind of like the fun playground of live streaming. YouTube is like slightly more professional. Obviously, you can do whatever you want and be either a location, but Twitch definitely has a lot more of like the goofy fun stuff, and feels like there's a lot of developers, or there was, doing live streaming on Twitch. And then
Yeah, for sure there was, yeah.
a
Yeah.
bunch more on like a different kind of whole world on YouTube that do it as well. But definitely YouTube would have a little more like professional-ish vibe. And I think like for your potential viewers, I guess it just depends on like YouTube is an easy one to understand. It's on every device everywhere. And so, if I pull it up on my TV or my phone or my computer, I know what YouTube is. But if I send my parents to watch my Twitch stream, they're going to be like, what is going on?
Yeah,
And so that's,
I think that's it for me. I think I'm actually going to do the YouTube thing because Kevin Powell told me to do that, and I do everything he tells me to do. Yeah,
and so that's,
because yeah, he was going through a few of you like what do I need to do this? What platform to do? And Kevin was like, look, Twitch is great, but just do YouTube.
yeah.
Trust me. And I was like, okay, that's
Yeah.
that's all I need to know. Yeah,
Which it does have, discoverability is definitely better on YouTube. Like,
mm,
so within Ecamm, you can choose destinations. So I've got YouTube and then my Twitch channel set up as a default, and I just have it checked right
wow,
now
yeah.
for YouTube. But I think you can add like all the other, like if you're wanting to
Oh,
do,
LinkedIn. There you go. That's my
uh,
platform. I'm a LinkedIn user.
you
Yeah.
definitely seem like a LinkedIn kind of guy.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I love that shit. Yeah. Yeah. Give me
Uh,
some corporate broachery any time of the day.
there's a sweet
Yeah.
one. I happened to go on Threads, and it was like someone who got owned on LinkedIn because they were like said they met this famous founder of whatever, and had this amazing conversation with this guy who was a founder of some company, I think in India, I forget where it was, but anyways, photo of the guy, and she's with him, and like I finally got a selfie with this guy, and then the first comment is from who she thought she was meeting with, but it was like, sorry to burst your bubble, that's not me.
Oh,
It's like
no.
perfect LinkedIn moment.
Brutal.
Uh, anyways, you can choose all sorts of destinations, and then this is where you can choose some of the set. Like it's a bit of that Mac app vibe of like some stuff is
Yeah.
stuffed into the settings, and then some stuff is not, and you kind of have to do a bit of digging. Uh, and
They just pull a modern window out just for fun in
and
certain
so
areas.
like choosing your stream settings obviously, and how the quality will depend on your bandwidth, but there's a
Yeah.
test they've got down here where you can just run it. Obviously you might know already what your speed is, but that's
Yeah.
where you can dial down the high quality or whatever, just if it's too, especially if you're just streaming web
That's cool.
pages in your face. So I record all this stuff, and then they actually add the ability to like do multi-track recording. So I have a video, like your video, my video, the guest video, audio, or whatever is all separate, even though I basically do nothing with them, just out of habit. So anyways, that's the sort of quick version. If anybody's watching and wants more fun with this, I'm happy to do this kind of thing again. So feel free to find me wherever you find me, and go find Andy at where do you want to send people to
On the internet.
on the internet?
Yeah, just find me.
Just
Search for Andy Bell on the internet, and you'll definitely find me. Definitely not the lead singer of Erasure. Yeah, I get quite periodically. I get emails from people thinking that they're emailing him, and it's like
nice.
everyone's so nice to him. It's such a delight to get those emails, but then I have to break their little hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not him. I am a much worse version. Yeah.
Much better at writing HTML, but not so much at
Yeah. Definitely couldn't write a song as good as Andy Bell can, but yeah, I can probably beat him in CSS battle. Yeah.
We all have our gifts. There's a Chris Enns in Canada that I get alerts for, who's like a huge proponent of weed, and so I often get Chris Enns has been sent to jail again for protesting weed at whatever.
Yeah, so it's definitely not me.
No,
Yeah.
but maybe it could be. I can aspire to that.
Yeah.
All right,
One
we'll. So what I'm gonna do here, I'll just show you on this end. Show the demo mode again. So basically, when you're done streaming, I can hit finish and broadcast, and then that'll end the stream. But you and I stay alive in the conversation.
Yeah, do you die in real life? Yeah.
This is like VR. Anyways, thanks for watching the 4 or 5 of you that did, and see you again next
thanks,
time.
everyone.
Feel free to follow. See ya.